Hey YouTube, this is my 2021 Ram 1500. This is an eco diesel, as you can see from the badge in there. There are a lot of videos online about these trucks, but I thought I'd do a quick one since I've had this truck a couple of years now. In 5 days it'll be 2 years old. I've had just over 27,000 miles of driving on it, both in city and highway. And I thought I'd do a quick review from a user's perspective or from an owner's perspective. So let's get to it. Let's take a look at this truck. I want to tell you a few of the things that I like and a few of the things that I don't like, and why I think I might be keeping this truck. So let's get to it. First things first, just the sheer styling of this truck alone. This truck, I think, is really handsome. From this perspective, you could tell this truck looks really, really good. Hopefully it shows up on camera. The lines are really good. It's just a good looking truck. I've had quite a few trucks in my time. I've had a Chevy Colorado, a first generation Nissan Titan, a GMC Sierra, second generation Nissan Titan, and now this thing. And this is by far the best looking truck I've had. Straight out from the factory, no modifications. I love these 22-inch wheels. They could have done with some better tires on there. These Goodyear Eagle Touring tires, they're really car tires on a truck, but they're 22-inch. They're really meant to look a little bit sporty, and they're meant more for driving on the street than driving off-road. The side steps on this thing are really convenient, especially when it's in the normal ride height. It's easy to get in and out. If you open the door, the steps deploy, and you close the door a few seconds after the steps redeploy. You could also control those manually from the Uconnect system on the inside. As you can tell, this thing is not really too clean. I've been driving it a lot. I like this step right here to get in the bed. Probably from the outside, the best thing that I like about this truck is the tailgate. This is the one with the split tailgate, which means you could open it traditionally like this, and I have this little net in there to hold things. Or you could open it kind of like barn door style, which makes it really convenient to walk right up to the vehicle and get stuff in and out. The engine on this thing is really small. It's a 3-liter diesel engine, and I think they sourced this thing from Fiat. What that means is it's kind of expensive to do any maintenance on it. Just an oil change alone is about $250-300 depending on when you get it done. If you could find the filter, you could probably do it yourself, but the problem is I can't find the filter, so I can't do it myself. And this thing sits in the same frame that the V8 fits on. And what that means is the drain plug is just above our cross member. So if you try to drain this thing yourself without doing some sort of fancy funnel or something down below, you're gonna get oil all over one of the cross members down below. But overall, this engine is okay. One of the things that I noticed about this engine, I did have a Ram Rebel, a 2019 Ram Rebel before this one. That had the 5.7 Hemi. The responsiveness of this little eco diesel is like really lacking, right? I mean, it is a diesel, and it is a small diesel engine. So when you hit the gas, it thinks about going, and then it starts going. This thing is the 4-wheel drive version. And although I've never had to use this in like sticky mud or anything like this, I have used it in 4-wheel drive. I've gone down to the beach multiple times and driven it down St. Augustine Beach on soft sand in 4-wheel drive high, and I've never had a problem, never had it get stuck or had a hard time moving or anything like that. Even with these Goodyear Eagle Street tires on these 22-inch wheels, it did just fine in the sand. It didn't stick or anything, and it seemed to pull as if it wanted to just drive down the sand. This is also a relatively big truck, and the hood is quite huge with that big bulge in the middle. Sometimes it's hard to see out the front. I mean, you could adjust the seat however you want so that you're high up enough. But in my favorite seating position, sometimes it's really hard to gauge up front. which is why I really like this front camera. It has a 360 camera on it, so that maneuvering this thing around the place isn't really all that bad. The cameras are under the mirrors right here, and these mirrors are power fold in, which is also an added convenience. This thing also has the air suspension. Maybe you can see it in the camera. If you look under there, you can see the airbags. They're inside that little aluminum thing there. There's no real, no real shocks or coil spring in here. So it rides like a dream. The other cool thing is you could raise it and lower it. I think you could lower it from the normal ride height, which is what is it at now, down 2 inches, and then you could raise it up another 2 inches, so you got about a total of 4 inches worth of travel. And you could lower it by just double clicking the button on the key, just like. I don't know if the camera could pick it up, but you could actually hear the compressor going. And you see it going down. And that is it at its lowest setting, is all the way down to the ground. And this is what it looks like at its highest ride height. It's kind of high if you look at it compared to where it was before. And this is only permitted, you could only drive in this ride height if you have the 4-wheel drive one, I believe, and in 4-wheel drive low because there's additional ground clearance. I've never really driven it on this ride height. Even on the beach, I just had it on the normal ride height. If you're sitting in the vehicle and you're raising it and lowering it, you could actually feel it going up and down because it raises the back and the front, then the back and the front again until it reaches the desired ride height. When you're on the highway and you're going down the road and I think it's 60 miles an hour, you cross 60 miles an hour, it actually lowers the suspension by 1 inch to give you a little bit more aerodynamic. You can't really feel it when you're going that fast, but maybe it does help with the fuel economy. On the highway, I've gotten as high as 33 miles per gallon on this thing, and in the city, it normally averages 23, 24. So not bad for the size of vehicle and the capabilities. Another thing I really like about this truck is the fact that it has these parking sensors all the way around, which makes it really easy to get close to objects and know how far you are. It's the same thing around the back. The parking sensors all the way around the back. That together with the 360-degree camera makes it really easy to maneuver and park this thing in tight spaces. Let's jump inside real quick and let me show you a couple of the other things that I really like about this truck. Let's go ahead and start it up. I want you to hear what it sounds like with the diesel running on the inside. The air might come on full blast. Let's go ahead and cut the air down a little bit. So you might be able to hear it, or maybe you're not able to hear it, but the diesel noise on the inside is not all that loud on the inside, even when you rev the engine a little bit. I mean, you could hear it, but it's not bad or obtrusive or anything like that, which means you could actually have a decent conversation in this thing while you're driving down the road. I really do like the big screen in the middle. What I don't like is that all the controls are within this little control window, and there's no real buttons for the heated seat, vented seat, and so forth, right? To get the heated steering wheel in the wintertime, you have to go into the control and hit the heated wheel. I like the steering wheel warm in the wintertime, and that's just one of my pet peeves, that you actually have to go into this control to turn it on. Other than that, you know, I really like this this Uconnect. This is the older Uconnect, the Uconnect 4. They have the Uconnect 5 now, which is in my wife's 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee. But I could live with this Uconnect 4. I really do like the Harman Kardon sound system. I think there are 10 speakers in this thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe even more than that. There's speakers on the doors, speakers up on the dash. And you can see their car seats and toys in here because this truck is lived in and driven. There's speakers up ahead, behind, and there's a subwoofer hidden somewhere. So it sounds really good. I like the huge panoramic sunroof. You could open the shade all the way back. The only problem is this thing is black, and if I forget that open in the summertime, it becomes a real oven in here. Because I don't know if you know this, but in all these Ram products, the air conditioner, in my opinion, is really, really weak. I have to keep it on full blast all the time to stay cool in this thing. One of the things I really dislike about this truck, and is not a knock on the truck, I knew it when I bought a diesel truck, is the diesel sound, right? From the inside with the windows up, you can't really hear it. You could have a pleasant conversation and it's okay. But if you had to drive through and you roll the window down, it is extremely loud, especially if you're right up against a drive-through wall. I don't know if you could hear it with the window down, but it becomes really loud and you could almost not hear yourself ordering through the drive-through. Just a pet peeve of mine. That's probably the biggest gripe I have with this vehicle. The seats are really comfortable. This is the passenger seat, which is just the same as the driver's seat. There's a lot of room in the back. We have 2 kids and they ride back here all the time. They have a lot of leg room. Even when my wife has the seat with the gangster lean going on, the car seat behind it, she has a lot of leg room right there. Here's a quick shot of the amount of leg room back there. I put these little towels under the car seat just to protect the leather on the seat. And these are the original mats that came in this thing. They're the limited mats. You can see it says limited on it. I've been meaning to change these out for full rubber mats that go all the way up and protect the carpet, but I hadn't. And since I've taken this to the beach quite a few times, there's a lot of sand in there. And lastly, going back into the bed again, I put this little net thing in here and just hooked it onto the rails and the tie-down hook. This allows me to just put stuff in here and it not slide all over the place, so I could put small items in here and use it like a real trunk. It's just a regular 5-foot bed. Nothing way too special about it, except it has these rails with the tie-downs on it, and it has lights in there, LED lights, so you could see at nighttime in here. This one here came with this tonneau cover as part of the black package. I can't stand chrome, so I really like that this thing came with the black wheels, or the almost black wheels, and the tonneau cover, the blacked out door handles, and the blacked out grille, so that it looks kind of stealth. Not really. Hadn't tinted the windows really dark. But this is my 2021 Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. For what it's worth, it has a few faults, a few quirks, but I really like this truck, and this might be the one that I keep until the wheels fall off. I only have 28,000 miles on it, and maybe when the 4-year lease is up, I might just go ahead and keep this one, unless Ram comes out with something that is a whole lot more desirable. I'm not too sure about that electric truck that they have. It looks pretty, but I don't know if it's for me. For the time being, this thing is really good. About 30 to 33 miles per gallon on the highway, depending on how much I have the bed loaded up, and about almost always average 23 in the city, and that's pretty good for a truck this size. I hope you like this video. If you do, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and like, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.